As we all know, the automotive market is dominated by crossover SUVs. Everywhere that you look, you'll see one. But there are still quite a few cars to choose from. The latest one to join the fray is this new Kia K4. So where does this car stack up against all the other cars that are available right now to buy? Well, let's go for a drive and find out. So what's powering the new Kia K4? Well, it's a 2-liter naturally aspirated 4-cylinder engine, but you can get a 1.6 turbo 4-cylinder engine on the GT line. This 2-liter engine though isn't very powerful. It only produces 147 horsepower and 132 pound-feet of torque. So it's not exactly a fast car, but it does feel pretty peppy whenever you set off from a stop, and it has enough power to accelerate onto a highway and actually keep up with the flow of traffic. One interesting characteristic that I've noticed about this engine is that it has almost no engine braking. Every time that I lift my foot off the throttle pedal, and I'm talking about on a flat surface, not going downhill, but every time I take my foot off the throttle pedal, it just feels like as though there's not much slowing me down. On highways, it's just wind resistance and tire friction that's actually slowing me down. There's barely any engine braking. Paired with this engine is a CVT automatic transmission, which Kia calls an IVT, or intelligent variable transmission, but it behaves just like any other regular CVT. When you're setting off from a stop or cruising on highways, it just holds the RPMs to whatever they need to be at until you let off the throttle. It's only when you really mash your foot on the throttle pedal does it actually try to replicate the characteristics of an automatic with fake gear shifts. Additionally, you can take over control of this transmission by shifting the gear selector to the left when it's in drive, and then you have about 8 gear ratios to play around with. But again, they're not actually shifting gears or anything like that. But one thing that this CVT is good for, especially on highways, is providing good fuel economy. On a highway, this car is rated for 6 liters per 100 kilometers. In a city though, it's 8.4 liters per 100 kilometers. During my time with it, I've averaged 7.8 liters per 100 kilometers. The car does have 2 different drive modes, either normal or sport, but in all honesty, there isn't really that much of a difference between the two. In sport mode, the steering does feel just a tiny bit heavier, and the engine's RPMs are kept slightly higher so that it's more in the torque band range. But otherwise, this car isn't really that enjoyable to drive when you find yourself on more entertaining backcountry roads. The ride of the 2025 Kia K4 is about average for this class. The suspension does a decent job of isolating the cabin from moderately sized bumps, but bigger ones will be felt through the seat. As for cabin noises, it is quite noisy. Wind noise is not too bad on highways, but road noise from the tires is very prevalent. Additionally, the engine is a screamer, but not in a good way, whenever you need to accelerate quickly. Now let's take a look at the interior of the new Kia K4, and it has a very simple and really straightforward to use design. All of the climate controls and quick access buttons for the infotainment system are physical buttons. They're not capacitive touch like how they are in some other vehicles. The gear selector is traditional in its operation. The steering wheel mounted buttons are again very simple and straightforward to use. And again, this interior is just straightforward. There's nothing in here to really confuse you about how anything works. The only thing is, it's a very monotone interior, much like my outfit for today. There's a lot of grays, different shades of grays I should say, and a few blacks. In fact, the interesting thing is that if you look in front of the passenger and on the passenger side door, it's a gray color on the top portion. But if you look on the driver's side and the driver's side door, it's black. This doesn't really bother me, but it's just a unique design choice. This car, of course, does have a dual screen layout. The main one is the infotainment touchscreen, but in front of the driver, it's not a full digital display. It's only the center portion that is a digital display. The elements to either side of that are just illuminated from the back whenever you turn it on. But I do believe that on the top spec GT line trim, it does become a full digital driver display. In terms of the materials, they're pretty okay. I mean, you do get some softer plastics on the upper portions of the dashboard and door panels, but of course the lower portions of this cabin are hard, scratchy plastics. Also, you do get some cloth on the center portion of the door panels that mimics the cloth that's on the seats. In terms of interior space, there's plenty of it for my 6'4" height up here in front seats. I have no issues with legroom and I have no issues with headroom. And unlike some other vehicles that are a lower trim like this one, this car actually does have height adjustment for the passenger seat. It's not just the driver. The only thing is with these seats, the bolsters are digging a little bit into my back, but that's just probably my body type. For you, it might be different. So make sure you do sit in the seats if you are considering this car for a good 10-15 minutes to see how it fits you. And that's about it for the front seats. Now let's go check out the back seats. Back here, it is quite snug for my above average height sitting behind my tall 6'4" driving position. My knees are right up against the back of the front seat and it is hard plastic instead of soft cloth or leather. Headroom, again, snug. I can feel my hair brushing up against the headliner. Back here, you do get a couple of air vents as well as a couple of USB-C ports, but you do not get a center armrest with cup holders. There's just nothing in between the seats. On higher top spec trims, you do get heated seats on the outboard positions, but this one does not have it. And yeah, that's about it for the back seats of the Kia K4. In the trunk, the Kia K4 has 413 liters of cargo space, which is about the same as the Honda Civic. The rear seats can be folded 60/40, and there is a spare wheel under the trunk floor. The 2025 Kia K4 is one of the less expensive compact cars on the market. It starts at $23,995 Canadian for the LX trim, with this EX trim costing an additional $2,500. A fully loaded GT line turbo is $34,495 Canadian, which is still less expensive than some other top spec trims of other compact cars. This EX trim of the Kia K4 is not very well equipped, but it has just the right set of convenience features. In the Canadian market, it has heated front seats, a heated steering wheel, a wireless phone charging pad, a backup camera, wireless Apple CarPlay and wireless Android Auto connectivity, cloth upholstery, manually adjustable climate controls, push-button start, and keyless entry. Moving up in the trims will add features such as heated rear seats, ventilated front seats, dual-zone automatic climate controls, power sunroof, synthetic leather upholstery, and Harman Kardon sound system. One thing that I do like about the Kia K4 is how it looks. Okay, from the side it looks kind of boring, but from the front and from the back, I think it looks really good, especially in the front with those amber boomerang style LED daytime running lights. I don't know about you, but I think that this car really stands out in a crowded parking lot. The base LX trim comes equipped with a lot of safety and driver aids, but if you want to have every feature available on the K4, you'll have to move up to the GT line Limited. In addition to features such as automatic emergency braking, lane keep assist, lane follow assist, and 8 airbags, moving up to the EX trim will add blind spot sensors and rear cross traffic alert. Moving up to the GT line adds highway driving assist, and on the top spec GT line Limited, you'll get forward collision avoidance 2, highway driving assist 2, parking collision avoidance assist rear, surround view cameras, and blind spot view monitor. So how does the new Kia K4 stack up against other compact cars in its segment? Well, if you're looking for the best overall compact car, I still think that the Honda Civic has it beat. But of course, the Civic is more expensive. If you want something that drives really well, then the Mazda 3 is the one to go for. But if you want bang for your buck, the Kia K4 definitely delivers on that. If you'd like to know more about this 2025 Kia K4, I have a more detailed written review of it over on my website. You can find that link in the video description or click on the pop-up banner right up there. And as always, I will see you in the next car, truck, or most likely it'll be an SUV next time. Anyway, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video and see you in the next one.